is that they have the deep fried Oreos.
Yes.
And they've got burgers with donuts for buns.
Yes.
Or something.
It's chicken. It's a chicken sandwich.
Is it chicken?
Yeah, with donuts. Yeah.
I see the pictures of all the stuff, but whenever we go, I can never find it.
Oh.
So I've never actually had it. So all I can really go off of is the corn on the cob.
Oh, okay. Well,
the only thing we can ever find.
Well, corn, Indiana.
Yeah, it's like anywhere you look.
Take anything, something unhealthy, and we'll say, watch this, and deep fry it,
Yeah, that is true. And I told you about the, it was actually a pickle with a hot dog in it, deep fried like a corn dog. It looked like a big corn dog, but when you took a bite, no, it was delicious. It was so good. Yeah. And then, of course, pigs in the mud, one of my favorite. You take bacon and dip it in chocolate. Pigs in the mud. Oh, my goodness. Oh, it's so good.
Put that nice cream.
See, I'm the simplest. Just give me the bacon.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
I'll have the chocolate later for dessert.
The chocolate on the side.
I don't like double stuffed Oreos or thin
Oreos.
The regular Oreos.
The original.
Now we had the Lady Gaga Oreos. You see those?
Yeah.
No.
My wife tried to sneak those in.
Hang on. I gotta know about them.
There was some kind of a lady. She's on the. I don't know that they're anything special, but there was like this little package and it had Lady Gaga on it, and
they were regular Oreos. It was just the packaging.
So Lady Gaga made it to Oreos.
They were promoting I think it was like a concert series or tickets or.
I don't know.
Something, but they did.
Still didn't eat them.
I never saw them.
They may have been the same, but nope, it wasn't the old plain Oreo package.
Got to have that. Got to have that plain.
Big Joe.
That's hilarious. That's so funny.
Nope, she's tried.
All right, good to know that. We'll keep that in mind, okay? All right. Whenever we have a picnic, okay?
Hide the labels or Joe won't eat.
That's right. That's right. We'll just keep it. But anyway, State Fair, that's a lot of fun things. We'll be sending some fun people up there and have some fun. And Indiana State Fair is always a great time. And also, it's a good time to see the different exhibits from our 4-Hers, that are up there. And from Paoli, from Washington County.
Do they still do the butter sculptures? Maybe I'm aging myself a little bit, but
I think they do.
That's when I went to. They had oh boy, this will tell you. They had a Garth Brooks butter statue. It was last time I went to the State Fair.
Wait, poor Garth. Did he start melting in any way? Because he.
I wondered how
he got butter.
It's really cold in there.
I'm melting.
Yeah, wherever is the last time I was there a few years ago, they have been right there with a big ACs over it. So it's usually pretty good.
That's the best thing I've heard, Joe. Garth Brooks butter.
But here's my reel is coming out. What a waste of butter.
Well,
what do they do with it when you're done?
I'm sure. Grab a roll somewhere.
Grab a hunk and a sirloin steak, throw it on there.
Or
a ribeye.
But you know how many hands have probably touched that butter?
Oh, I imagine.
Don't think about that.
Surely they use.
It's Garth Brooks. Who wouldn't want to have a piece of Garth Brooks, right?
Food.
That's great.
Well,
now I remember a couple years ago. Of course, we didn't last year, but Boyz II Men came. That was a wonderful concert. Really good. It was packed. But also the Big Tomato, the Big Tomato company does the Big Tomato thing. So there's a big.
Well, it's stationed out of Elwood. I mean, that's a local company. Red Gold?
Yeah, Red Gold. There it is, Red Gold.
Stationed out of Elwood.
Yeah. And so they do a big display, which is pretty awesome. And I think it's one of the biggest ever, as far as making tomatoes and producing tomatoes. So watch me. My hands are flying. I'm going to wave in some airplanes if I keep doing this, guys. We're going to have some landing in the parking lot. Anyway, so State Fair fun, and appreciate you guys sharing all that for sure. All right, we're going to jump in, and Joe, we glad to have you with us this Monday and Meadowview, and we're going to find out a little bit about all the great things that you offer. And we brought Melanie on board, and Melanie, so glad to have you with us. And
thank you.
Hannah, let's ask some good questions to Melanie and Joe. Let's fire the questions at them right and left, and see what all. And you've got some great incentives for people, and some great actually career opportunities for our community and surrounding communities, right?
Absolutely.
All right, jump right in. Tell us what you got going on, Melanie.
Well, we offer CNA classes. Actually, you start out, it would be a PCA class, and that's a 1 8-hour day with me in the classroom. And then you go on the floor and do 49 hours of clinical hours. And then after that, you do another class with me, which I usually do in 3 days. We do 2 8-hour days and a 4-hour day. Then there's a little bit more clinical hours, and then you test with a state tester and hopefully pass, and you become a CNA.
Love that.
Yes.
Love that. Now, things changed since COVID? I mean, like, are they, because we know we need CNAs, we need
Desperately.
LPNs, we need RNs, we need the nurses. Is this more of a, like, realizing what a great career this would be for someone?
I think it did. I mean, the whole PCA class that she mentioned was, I mean, it was born out of COVID.
Yes.
Healthcare facilities were,
Right.
you know, we were needing a lot of help in a very short time, so they created this PCA class. It's an abbreviated CNA class. It's not meant to be somewhere you stay, but it was something to help get bodies in the door. There are people there
Absolutely.
just to help. So that whole PCA program was born out of COVID. So.
Well, I think that a lot of times with this, and Hannah, do you feel this too, because you're in healthcare too with Hoosier Uplands, do you feel that a lot of people are intimidated? They're just like, oh, I can't do that. And they might be that person, though, that has that heart. Do you look for that, Melanie? Do you express? Not,
Absolutely.
I mean,
you have to be a people person. You
Exactly.
have to love to be around people, for sure. Yes.
Well, I had a professor say, you know, you can pass tests, but do you have that heart? Do you have that passion for this?
Right. Absolutely. We always want to look for somebody who, you know, who has a positive outlook. Yeah, so I get to do the interviews. I interview people, hire people. My job is fantastic.
I love that.
Yeah.
So what about, like, I guess, what are some of the things that, like, when they come to you, when they first are thinking about doing this, what are their concerns? Like, what are you hearing a lot of people? Let's try to myth bust this morning.
Well, you know, it's kind of the hidden side of life, you know. People, stop laughing at me, Joe.
I don't know.
No, Greg and I were sharing something.
Okay.
You know, people go to the bathroom and have to be taken care of, and
Yeah.
you know, people get older and rely on others to help them, and so, you know, it's always a grave concern. I always ask, you know, do you know what you're in for?
Yeah.
It is a hard job for
Sure.
sure. Physically, mentally, sometimes emotionally, you know.
I think the biggest myth that's out there is that our nursing assistants are, and you know, pardon for saying this, but are just butt wipers, and that's
not
the big
true.
myth. I mean, they are so much,
right.
So not true. So much more to give.
Absolutely.
And yes.
Get to be a part of the residents' lives, and they get to know them on a whole nother level that even Mel and I don't get to know them at. So
Right.
that's one of the big myths that's out there about CNAs and nurses too. It just always drives me bonkers because there's so much more to it.
Absolutely. Now, what about then for, like, what ages are you looking for, or are there any ages? What if somebody has already got their children grown and they're wanting to give back and wanting to be a part, you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. As a matter of fact, last week I just had a class with two 16-year-olds, an 18-year-old, and then probably a 40-something. So, you know, if you're willing to, you know, jump in and you want to help people, and that's your maybe life goal, Meadowview is a place to come for sure.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Sure. Well,
and it's very rewarding. You know, it's more than a paycheck. It's, you know, you always walk out the door knowing that, you know what, I helped somebody today. And that's a good thing. That's a good feeling.
Absolutely. And then as far as, I guess, as far as, like, saying that you, like, can advance too. I mean,
Absolutely.
not only, I mean, this is like a step up, you know, instead of a handout, a hand up, you know, this is helping out.
We have a career ladder for
career ladder. There you go.
several positions now, especially in nursing. You can come in, you can start, you can get your CNA. You do good, you have good performance, and then we have something called the One Program, and once a year, we get to nominate candidates to go into the One Program, and if chosen, it's a pretty extensive interview process, not just within the building, but within the corporation that you have to go through. But they will pay for your complete nursing degree. You can go up and get your LPN, and then once you're done with your LPN, you can continue on and get your RN. But one of the exciting ones I think we have, and it's there, but we're developing it still, is the culinary career ladder. We have where you can come in, you start as a dishwasher or an aide or a cook, and then you can actually climb up. You can get further education to become a culinary manager or even one of our regionals or things like that. And I use this story all the time, and I tell David I do, but one of our senior vice presidents started as a laundry aide in the laundry, and now he's a senior vice president in our company. So definitely multiple career ladders that you can take. So,
but I love that, because then he saw firsthand and he knows, you know, I mean, I love that,
Sure.
you know, starting where you've done a little bit of everything. And
Mhm.
I know, Hannah, you did a little bit of everything with Hoosier Uplands, when, especially during COVID, when everybody has to pull together, you know, so much. And I know on you guys too, all hands on deck, everybody do whatever you had to do.
Right.
Yeah, I think
Yes.
we saw that this past year. Yeah. So, well, I think it's great opportunities. And okay, so what about the cost for people? Anybody listening is thinking, you know, I kind of think about doing this, or know someone that might be wanting to do something like this.
No cost. We actually pay you.
Yeah.
Even being the
Get
PCA,
out.
once you
If I
once
could
we
push you
hire,
guys back, I mean, get out.
once you get hired, there's we have weight scales for every position, so there's no charge to anyone for any of the classes, even with the one program. You know, if you get accepted into that, there's no cost to you. There's no commitment. We don't make you sign a 5-year contract, but you're going to be with ASC
That was my next
after
question.
you're done,
Yeah,
because I know
yeah.
that's a pretty common practice within, you know, healthcare companies, hospitals, or whatever. But we don't. Hopefully, we've done it right, and someone wants to continue to work and stay with ASC or Meadowview, and if not, then they're free to go. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
it is.
It
It
is.
is.
That's helping out. Okay, not only are you like working and, you know, and building your own facility, but also look at all the other people you're helping.
Mhm.
I mean, like Hoosier Uplands, because like your nurses and stuff might come from this, that they have developed. What a blessing. I mean, you guys, they have before?
Yeah, we've had nurses come on that have been LPNs, and they've gotten their degree through programs at other nursing home facilities like
That's wonderful.
ASC has.
Well, what a blessing. You know, I mean, that's fantastic. And people need that help, you know. Okay, so let's talk about a 16-year-old. What would a 16-year-old, aren't they still like in the high school area, or? Okay.
Yes. And it makes me a little nervous, you know, 16-year-olds.
I think they have energy.
Right? And I love having them
Yeah.
in class.
Oh, I think
love having them in
Yeah.
class. They bring a whole, you know, new perspective on. I just, you know, I always think I don't want them to be scared off or anything like that, you know. But they just have taken it in stride. Have, you know, they have both done exceptionally well.
I
So
love that.
yeah,
Well, I think it's wonderful.
it is.
And then, I mean, at 16, if you kind of figure out what career, I mean, think they could be an RN. I mean, and very young RN.
Yes,
Right?
One of our young gentlemen that was in class last week, he is, you know, thinking about going to school to be a doctor. He, I guess, is straight A student here at Salem, and just a great kid. So really excited, you know, to get a watch and see where he's going to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, and there's so many different avenues, and I know we're going to talk about Hoosier Uplands, all the avenues that they have, and I know you have a lot of avenues too, just like what Joe was talking about, the career movement. But this will see if this is for you,
Yes.
and this is a great way to do it, and it's at no cost, and you actually get paid.
Yeah. That's how. I mean, I started my career that way. So, and I wasn't a 16-year-old high school kid. I was a 22-year-old college grad, and was sitting in a class with to get my CNA certification before
I was 18.
I went into
that's
the
awesome. Yeah.
before you go into the administrator program. It was a requirement for the company I worked with at the time. So for the reason you said, they wanted you to see.
Well,
every bit
it's
of it.
good because, you know, I know several that have gone to school, and and maybe they realize that just wasn't what they wanted to do, and this would be a great opportunity to see. And what I said too, you know, because I had done the CNA classes before, and I of course am in radio and TV, so I'm not, but it's always helped me in my mothering, and now grandmother,
Yes.
it's helped me. Like there's things that come into play. It's funny how God puts things in your life.
Yes.
That you never know why you went, or why you've experienced that, or what was that, but it comes into use.
31 years I have been doing this, and the people that I have met, the memories, the experiences, it's just been such a positive, healthcare's just been a great thing for me. So yeah.
And rewarding.
So rewarding.
And you'll meet some really awesome people.
So many awesome people. people.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that is wonderful. I think it's great, and I think it's so awesome that you guys. And I don't know that people know that. You know, what I mean, and we need to just really keep driving that. Nobody misses this. You know.
Yes.
This opportunity. And so how do they go about finding out more about this? And you've got a class started, you have to wait a few months before you can get to another class, or how do you?
No, we, when people come in, or, when people apply online at ASC, care, ASCcare.com, I pull those apps every day. So I'm calling people for interviews. And as soon as we have a class ready, yeah. So usually about every couple of weeks. Or so, yeah.
That's wonderful. And
It
you
is.
usually average like 4 or 5 a class? Or
Yes.
That's
Yes.
a nice amount.
It is. Yes.
So you can work on with them one
Yes.
on one. Yeah.
Well, pre-COVID, we'd have 6, 7, 8, 10 in a class.
And I have.
Yeah.
With the distancing,
Yes.
we still
it's
try
way
to.
better.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I think it's just fantastic, and what a great opportunity. And I hope that someone tells somebody that somebody might tell somebody. Heather, you might share that too if anybody you know in the area that could utilize this for sure. I don't know that very many facilities are doing this. You know what I mean? So I think this. I don't know this, but I know we have this here. So how blessed we are.
So blessed.
Yeah. And then let's go ahead and let's bring Hannah in. Hannah, talk about some of the great things you got going on at Hoosier Uplands too, and all the activities that you've got going. And we're going to go back and also because at Meadowview you're very unique with your with some of the things that you offer to our patients. We're going to talk about that too. But Hannah, let's find out some things going on at Hoosier Uplands.
Yeah, Hoosier Uplands, they're staying busy right now. We just got done with the Lawrence County Fair a couple of weeks ago. So they had a booth out there they kind of had somebody different out each night to kind of, so it depended on which night you went, you would kind of learn a little bit about some of the programs that they had out there.
Programs.
So yeah, a lot of it with the school changes and everything, you probably heard the news of all that. It was mostly a bunch of schools and stuff like that. So luckily we had that to kind of add into the mix of everything going on at the fair.
Yeah.
But no, otherwise they're gearing up for the Persimmon Festival coming up here kind of towards the end of September. I believe it's the September 17th. Is when it starts.
I think so, yeah.
Maybe I saw a banner coming up when I was up this way. But that's pretty much what they've got going right now that I know about. Like I said, I'm not up there on the switchboard anymore, knowing about everything coming up. So it's like so far, pretty sure they're just kind of staying busy right now with everything. So finishing up with summer, school's about to start up. So I believe Head Start is likely full for this coming season, but I'm sure there's a wait list if anybody was ever curious about learning more about getting their child into Head Start or early Head Start.
Great program, such a great program. Yeah, that's a blessing. And of course, I always want to make sure, we've been talking a lot about mental health, and I'm sure everybody knows that, and it's been hard to find facilities or people to talk to and stuff. And let's talk a little bit about this is the best, Serenity Now. Isn't that yeah? Can you tell us about Serenity Now?
Yeah, Serenity Now, located in Bedford off of 16th Street behind the Pizza Hut. They're actually hiring right now. So if anybody out there listening knows somebody with a therapy degree, I think it's LCSW as the license that they would need, but they are hiring for a therapist right now.
So like a social worker? Is that what it is? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, licensed clinical social worker is the degree behind that. But they're still offering out web interviews, visits with patients who are still uncomfortable with getting out. Right now, with the increase in the surge and everything, with the new variant going out there, and anybody that's just not vaccinated right now too. So anybody that is vaccinated, you can come in. I believe masks are optional if you have been vaccinated, but otherwise they still allow that right now. I believe their psychiatrist is scheduling out little ways, so you would need to visit with a therapist, getting started. But eventually they would get you in if it came to that point where medication was necessary. But otherwise, I mean, during the pandemic, they've stayed very busy through all of this.
No doubt, yeah. And I'm sure with Meadowview, I'm sure like the mental, making sure, when you're a caregiver, let's just be real. I mean, you're putting so much to the care of anybody. If you're taking care of your parent at home right now, or, you're giving so much that sometimes you just need to be just to talk to or have that person, And we've really tried to put a squash anybody feeling any negative feelings towards mental health, because mental health is real and it's okay to want to talk to somebody, and we talked with a guy from LA the other day, and he said that he thinks people are doing better with it. Doing better to realize that there's nothing wrong with it.
The stigma's kind of
The stigma, yes,
melting away,
yes,
so
and
to
it
speak.
needs to be melted away.
Yeah.
And more people need to, if they need to talk to someone, And Trinity now, and we've lost a lot of our facilities, so it's such a blessing that we have that in Bedford.
That's actually something I think kind of said before, was that when it comes to talking to somebody, that they don't just, like, it's not just a bunch of therapists that cover one certain area. So all of our therapists really cover different areas. There are therapists that do really well with adult men. There are some that do well with adult women. There are some that specialize with children. Some that specialize with teenagers. Those teenage years can be kind of rough on some people. So they cover all sorts of. At one point, they even offered group therapy at one point, couples therapy. So it's not just one certain area. Most people think of seeing a therapist, and you're seeing them for depression or anxiety. That's kind of the two main things that people think about, I think, for society right now. Is just when you hear mental health, those are the only two things. But there's just such an array of things that can go into that. And so that's why we have such a large array of therapists that can help with any little thing.
I love that. I did not know that. That's wonderful. That is fantastic, because everybody's different, everybody's unique.
Everybody has something different that they're battling with or that they need to just get out. So having that, have different options.
Right. Well, I'm thinking, I've never heard the word anxiety so much since COVID. Have you guys? Is that? Are you hearing that so much?
It's definitely one that it wasn't really heard about a whole lot before then. I mean, yes, there were people that had suffered with anxiety through, whether it's going to college and trying to get certain scores in school and just maybe in your job. But when it came down to like this unknown variant, it just kind of spiraled and everything. So it's definitely a new level of anxiety, I would say, for some people.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it comes from the expectations of, because with the kids these days, especially too. I mean, my older daughter says that, I have anxiety, and when you talk to her, it's really about that pressure to be something, or be, certain scores on the test, or be in a certain school or whatever, and they struggle to deal with that. And it's unfortunate the kids that young feel that kind of pressure, but that's, it's a reality, unfortunately.
Right. Melanie, have you had a lot of your patients too? And just the unknown.
Yes.
When
we were
residents,
when we had positive residents, staff in the building, and everybody had to, residents had to stay in their room. It was such a struggle. You really saw people, families couldn't come in and visit. A lot of struggling. We had a lot of weight loss, things like that, depression. It was very hard, and just kind of moving past that. Just so thankful to, maybe hopefully be on the other side of that.
right?
Yeah.
Well, it's such a blessing that we have got, and I always, Hannah, every time you come in here, or I always talk about that, because I just feel like that facility is such a great facility, and we're so blessed that we've got that right up the road here in Bedford. So I just hope everybody utilizes it, which I think it gets utilized quite a bit.
It definitely does. And it definitely helps people who who know how, like, warning signs, like knowing yourself, like you said before many times whenever we've been on here talking about it, is if you're hurt, if you have a broken bone, anything that needs any kind of mending or attention, you go and see a doctor for it. But when it comes to your mental health, sometimes it's an area that's a little bit more foggy, a little bit more mysterious. Just to keep in mind, it can be all sorts of different levels, so you have to really know whether it's something that you should be feeling or not, whether it's something that should be, you can talk to somebody. So usually, and that's the first point too, is just talking to somebody. whether you don't realize it yourself and you may need another expertise level of talking to. But sometimes just talking to somebody and hearing from them that maybe you should talk to somebody else about this. If it's something that I'm trying to kind of say, but like if it's something that,
You internalize.
yes.
Yeah. Good. Well, definitely. Well, and Hoosier Uplands Hoosier Uplands comes in. Melanie, this is, I'm going to give you 101 Hoosier Uplands because they complement Meadowview. They complement, Salem Crossing. They complement you, everybody working together for the common goal, which is the person, to make the best person and make the best, helping out everybody.
So true.
All the concerned. And Hoosier Uplands, with their hospice program.
Hospice is a fantastic program. Just a fantastic program. We use hospice a lot at Meadowview, just to have that backup system in for our residents and family members. When you can, have a chaplain come in and sit with the family and, as nurses, we don't always get to have that time, or CNAs, we don't, and to have that is very beneficial, very beneficial. And I did home health care for years, so I just think it's a good program. Anytime that if somebody is able to get a stay in their home and they have that family support and home health support, that's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good thing in someone's life.
Right. And you never know. And it might work for a little bit, a season, for a little while, and then maybe it becomes too much or overwhelming or just a lot, because it is a lot to keep up with when you're the caregiver. And that's where hospice stays with you and just will follow you wherever you go. And should you Meadowview, there you are there, and you have to see where you're at. And everybody's so unique and so different.
Yes. But even after the fact, they check up on family members after,
wonderful. Yeah. And I had never seen it in action, but boy, I saw it, and I tell you what, I was just blown away. Yeah, it just is such a great program. Yeah. So Hoosier Uplands, that's wonderful that you offer that for sure. Yeah.
Definitely try to get it out there, because a lot of people, unfortunately, kind of like what we're talking about with mental health, it's stigma.
That stigma.
And same thing with hospice.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like she was saying, it is such a good program and just service that we offer out there to those, and it's only those who need it too. You're not necessarily saying that you're giving up or anything like that if you need hospice. It's just a service that is offered when it comes to that time.
Exactly. Yeah. And of course, then let's talk about some other things you do. What about the heating and the cooling and all that great things? And this is good for Melanie, for you to know, for families. Should families need resources, this is
absolutely,
you could tap right in here to Hoosier Uplands because they're there.
Yeah. The energy assistance program, there's one in each county that we service, in Lawrence, Orange, Washington, and I believe Martin and Crawford counties. And so they offer any kind of heating and cooling assistance to anybody who needs it. If you can't, for instance, if you are a fixed income, if you can't afford some of your bills, your energy bill being one of them, then the energy assistance program comes into play, and they take a look at your expenses, your bills that you get in each month, and they will cover a cost or a portion of your energy bill cost. Your energy bill.
So important.
It is. It's awesome.
So important.
Yeah. And if somebody gets, if a family member or somebody gets down and realizes that they need that help, it's good to know. And that's why I always because you talk to a lot of people, and so does Joe. And it's nice to know our resources, what we can help out, and to share that we have. And this is to be utilized. It's there, and what a blessing.
Yeah, the occasional need for it, so that we see a lot, is somebody who is off on FMLA, usually. So they've been hurt on the job, they're down for a while, they're not getting that income while they're down, or if they've run out of PTO or anything like that, or they don't have any kind of assistance with their insurance. So our energy assistance comes into play whenever they just can't meet those costs right now. So we definitely try to help with that, and that's just one of the circumstances that I know about, that everybody's different.
Mm-hmm.
So you never know. Single parents may not have the extra income for that. So we see a bunch of it, but we definitely definitely try to help any way that we can.
Right. Well, there's all kinds of, things that can go, haywire, or, speed bumps in the road. Didn't see that curve, or something, right? Life sometimes just happens, but
That is
it's,
life.
that's a blessing that we have got these resources and utilize this. And of course, then we talked about the Head Start, which is a wonderful program and great. I know the school systems are very thankful for that. Whenever getting them ready for kindergarten and having that schooling, it's wonderful program.
Yeah, they definitely keep them busy for sure. So they've had the summer to regroup and get everything ready for the fall semester coming up. So those ladies will be ready, and I believe they're hiring for bus drivers right now.
Okay.
So anybody in
Yeah.
the Washington County, Lawrence, if you're near the Lawrence County or Orange County area, with the office located in Paoli, they're looking for bus drivers. So
Thinking, how much fun. You talk about the energy. Think about that. The wheels on the bus go round and round. I'd be singing that every morning, round and round. You talk about a lot of energy going on in that bus. Wouldn't it be with all those little ones? How awesome.
They are they're spirited.
See, I like that. I like spirited. I like that. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's fun. Well, that's great. So bus drivers need it.
Yes, bus drivers needed, and of course with our hospice, like kind of we're talking about.
Oh, yes.
She was speaking about chaplain coming in. We also have volunteers that come in and usually speak with patients, but we are also looking for volunteers. So it's usually one of those that does well with anybody kind of in the retirement age range with free time to be able to go out and visit with patients, sit with them, and just kind of be that extra ear for them to talk to, listen to. So we're always looking for volunteers, anybody that's interested.
Love that. Absolutely. Well, that's giving back, and that's what we're to do.
Yeah, and it is a special area, we'll say. Like everything we're talking about with that. So just being such a hard area when it comes to servicing and everything. So when you have somebody like a volunteer coming in who may not have had any kind of background with that, it is difficult the first time you kind of experience it, but then you kind of it's something that becomes more gratifying.
But you kind of have classes that you give to help them to kind of understand,
They go through training.
And I think sometimes, just like with this, going for the CNA, people get so intimidated. It's like, oh, can I do this? Or get so nervous about that. And on the hospice end, on your end, you can't it's giving of your heart, giving from yourself. And like the CNA, again, it's giving from your heart. It's giving from that. It will, and you'll be okay. You know what I'm saying? You're not, and like Melanie's going to work with you. And just like Hannah, you've got people that work with them on, situations. And I think that's wonderful. You help prepare them what's going to be going, what's going to be going on. So
it's not just a one person, like it's not just on the nurse.
Right.
Whenever it comes down to that, it comes down to the volunteer can be of help, the chaplain can be of help.
Exactly.
The social worker who goes out and then keeps up with the families up to a year after the passing.
See, a year after. How awesome is that?
So it's also the people in the office who are calling in for anything they need, like a hospital bed, if they need oxygen, if they need anything that's going to keep them comfortable during those last days. So it's a full round circle. Everybody in the tree, everybody has a hand in it. So
we know that grieving's not over. Like when after the funeral. I mean, after the funeral is usually when it starts. That's when you really and you can't put a time limit on it. 6-8 months, whatever. And just things that forever, like things that you used to do, or people that the habits that they had that you had together or whatever, there's, I'm so glad. That's such a blessing to at least stay with them for a year, and I love that. That's important. And just that, communication and everything. So that's fantastic. Yeah. Good.
Well, what a great way to, if you're, like we were talking about, going for therapy, and if you're down, maybe whatever, with yourself, and what a wonderful way to, to brighten your life is to help somebody else. I think you kind of see, maybe my problems aren't so bad, if you're sitting with somebody, helping somebody who is, passing, you've helped someone.
That's what
Yeah.
makes working in healthcare.
So true.
It's just it works when you want, and you just try to talk. When you have this need to just help somebody, it just it just flows through everybody.
Absolutely. So I think it's so important, and I'm hoping everybody hears this and utilizes it if you need it. You know what I mean? And or know someone that does. You know, so that's such a blessing. All right. Is there anything else that Hoosier Uplands? They do so many different things in 5 different counties, and we happen to be blessed that we are one of those counties. And you know, when there's a need, they come in and they just really help out. And of course, from the apartments that you have to the housing, Hoosier Uplands does so much.
With their wheelchair, their child's. Oh my goodness, I have them and I can't think of the word for them right now. Car seat.
Car seat. Oh yes, this
This
is
car seat program for anybody, new parents, whether you're a foster parent and you possibly need a car seat for a child that maybe you just come to foster care with. Then our I cannot talk today. I blame the sleep.
It's Monday. I know you were up with a
I have no
baby.
sleep.
You were up with a
I
baby.
cannot talk today. But the car seat program helps with that. I don't know the whole logistics of everything, but anybody curious about that can call the main office, and Emily, or not Alex. Alex is out on maternity leave right now, but Emily can help get you set up, or give you the key tips that you would need to acquire a car seat.
Love that. And that's a huge blessing too, because car seats can be kind of pricey, and also
They can be pricey.
and knowing which one to get.
You have multiple children, in the multiple, because there's different
Yeah.
stages of them. Car
And-
seats can be expensive.
yes, and then they expire.
Yeah.
You know, after so long they
If
expire.
you get in a car accident,
Oh,
you
then
don't
you-
have insurance,
Get it out.
your car seats are considered invalid now.
Yeah.
So if you don't have insurance, though, insurance will typically help cover those replacements, but if you don't, you're having to spend another $500 max on multiple car seats.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, so it's a great program for sure.
But that's just one of them.
Yeah, but that's
They
a
also
blessing.
have
Yeah.
the Mommy and Me program to help mothers who are pregnant quit smoking. So they offer incentives through WIC and everything, that they can go so many days or so many weeks and hit a point where they've not had a cigarette, and they get diapers, they can get vouchers, all sorts of different incentives to help a mother quit. They offer just the, in general, tobacco cessation program. We go out to the high schools because the pandemic, just in the high schools right now with vaping,
Oh,
it's mind blowing how young kids are just getting to this. I have a friend who, not in this area or anything, but her brother is 14 and he's vaping, and just everything goes with that. And I know somebody actually from Brentford who, her teenage son, he was vaping. He already had issues with his lungs, and it just, the way the doctors describe it is just that it turns your lungs into a big, it's much heavier than they should be, with everything that goes into them with that.
That's the oil, isn't it? The oil that they're
Oil and
yeah,
the I can't remember the commercial logistics of it when I read
everything
about
that's
it.
made up of it.
It's everything that goes into
Yeah.
it. Like a regular cigarette would just coat your lungs with tar, but the vaping, from the moisture and just the smoke or vapors, I have to look it up again, but something about it just turns your lungs into rocks, basically, and just like the size and just the way that your lungs aren't supposed to do that. So our tobacco cessation program is working.
it makes me so mad. I have to go quiet because I get
know.
livid, because if you remember when they marketed this, they started marketing to children, and they started showing like the flavors and all the different from watermelon to bubble gum. I mean, and
Chocolate, you got strawberry pie, they have so many
I
different
get
flavors.
livid. I'm a little. You're on my. I'm that. I go from 0 to 100 on when you're talking about when you're totally the innocent, and then you're marketing to that, and they're not knowing that. And of course, they came out saying that it didn't hurt you. Oh, this is safe. Remember how they all those ads and stuff. So it's a little.
It's just water. It's just vapors.
It gets me. I get a little testy. I get a little upset about that, because I do feel, and I've talked with I'm on the tobacco committee or board, and I can't. It really is. I mean,
It's a pandemic in itself.
It's-
It may not
it-
be an actual.
it breaks
virus
my
or
heart. It
anything,
makes
but
me,
it's-
yeah, I get a little bit upset about these. I honestly, there's the commercials that talk about it, and I honestly told them that they could advertise for free on my station. I will let you be on my station for free, talking about how it hurts these children. I just can't get the word out enough. You know what I mean? The power of the tower. I just want to, if it just touches one person to realize, don't do that,
Oh, yeah.
and just, and I know it becomes addictive. I'm addicted to coffee. I really, I will say that, and I know, I do try to cut back, but, I understand that, and I'm not trying to make little of anybody that has that. And I understand that, but if we have steps, like we have people that can help us through this, please, and Hannah, that's such a blessing
Our
that,
tobacco cessation program.
yes, that's such a
Working
blessing.
to
We just
that.
got to keep doing, and trying to, get to and I'm not saying that adults don't either, but these kids,
Starting out where they're impressionable. Everything that you say most of the time they believe it. They soak it up. So
well, and then you see these, and if you remember in the very beginning, these commercials, oh, it's safer, it's safe, and the different flavors, and it is just like, and then they're not even regulated the way I understand.
No.
A lot of times they, put whatever. Yeah.
that's where I always wonder, how are these kids getting it? Where's how?
So
It's-
I'm gonna have to leave for a second and go move furniture. That's what I do when I get. I move furniture. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm gonna go move some stools.
We'll work this out.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I know. I don't like that. I love our youth, and I love people, and I want people healthy. And I know we have so many things that happen in life in general just because. And then for this, and then I don't like snakes that come up and start saying stuff to our kids, false impressions. Sorry. Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So Hannah,
We got off on a rant.
I know. Well, it's
Circle
true. I'm sorry. I don't like it. Okay, going back, Hannah. So we have this sensation program, which is wonderful, and I pray that more people utilize this, and anybody that does,
I just hope the kids take it seriously.
that's
Not just hearing or hearing their parents come out to them, and whenever parents just rant about oh, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, and just kind of hearing it go one ear and out the other, the way with kids, with their parents, whenever they're lecturing them about something. So I just hope they take it seriously.
Well, I think, remember on Charlie Brown, remember when the teacher would talk, wah, 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 wah. I think a lot of our kids hear that like that. So it just takes that one person or maybe somebody, I think it takes a village. If that one person can spark it, I hope that happens,
Well, and it probably, honestly, I hope it catches on soon, but it's kind of like there probably won't be any kind of person. I'm thinking back 15 years ago whenever I was in school, and we would have the man who came out and do programs who his wife died at 20-some years old, and she died at 40-something years old, and then he would always finish it off with, I can't believe 20-something was middle age for her or something, and he would always come out and talk to us about his wife and how much she smoked and how much it actually destroyed her. And they always did the programs of this is how much tar and a liter of pop that goes into your lungs. They did all sorts of programs back when I was in school, and you could actually see pictures of people who, for instance, my own grandpa's. I had one grandpa started smoking when he was 9. He was 9 years old, and he lived to about 78 years old, I believe. He was 70 something when he died from emphysema. But you could just hear it, you could see it, and I mean, there's all sorts of, because it's from a lifetime of doing it, that they had all the studies and everything about it. So, but now there's no studies.
Do you think that,
vaping.
one of the things, and you mentioned that, one of the things that always stuck out to me is when they showed you the 2 pictures of the lungs. Here's one of the
Yeah, that's what
The one that's been doing it for years.
Yeah.
But do you think that scare tactic worked on us, but
Yeah.
the kids these days have so much access to whatever information and everything that it's almost like a desensitizing.
Yeah.
Right.
It's right. All the violence in this too. Nobody's shocked by anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That shock factor is just, But I think on that, I do want to say though that if anybody's doing it, one thing I remember from health class is if you stop, I mean, you could start rebuilding it back. You know what I mean? There's, and just stop today or stop as soon as you can, and it can start rebuilding back, so. And we're not passing judgment on anybody because everybody has to do their own. And I'm as guilty, and I'll say it, with coffee. It has to start my morning, you know what I mean? And
it goes back to mental health.
yeah,
This is your way of de-stressing yourself, like calming down your anxiety. There are other avenues.
Mm-hmm.
Hence Serenity Now.
Serenity Now, yeah. Do you remember that from Seinfeld?
Yes.
Yeah. See,
Loved
that's the best thing ever. Yeah, that's the best. Serenity Now. Yeah, I'm a huge Seinfeld fan. So, yeah, that's pretty awesome. Yeah. Well, good to know that, Hannah, and great. I know time's getting by, but I also want to show another program that Meadowview offers, and I think this is so important too. I think this is some good information that we're giving out today, and I really hope everyone's really following this. But you guys also have got something that not every facility has for our veterans too. So can we get a little bit of information on that?
Yeah, our VA program we've had, I know for 8 years for sure. I think we had it before I got into Meadowview. So we work closely with the VA for our veterans that might need long-term placement or even short-term rehab placement now. So we have representatives that we stay in contact with. We take referrals from the VA just like we would any other hospital or even from home. So if you have a veteran who might need some rehab or has an illness and needs some help getting over that, we have a contract with the VA to be able to provide that care just like they would at the hospital. Maybe a little bit lower care. They provide a lot more at the VA clinics, but if someone just needs a short-term stay, then we're here, or long-term. VA has long-term contracts. If someone needs to be here with us from a week to a year, whatever the case may be, we are one of, I think there's 4 or 5 facilities in this eastern southern Indiana area that has it. So it's a great thing. I mean, to be able to serve our veterans this way is always an honor.
Absolutely, and we thank them for their service, and so proud of that. And I just really just hope everyone understands and remember, and realizes this, because what an awesome facility that we have this, and this is actually a jewel that we have this in our community available for our community and surrounding communities to come for this.
And Washington County has such a large contingent of veterans that
absolutely
to be able to have this it is a great service for the community.
Right, and I don't know that we just need to make sure that everyone knows about this too. And this is good information too for anybody that you might come in. It's always nice to know what everybody's doing, and then because you never know. And Melanie, a family member you might get a new resident, or somebody, Joe, with a new resident and their family member might need help with their with their heating bills, or or something like that. Or if you have to bring in the hospice, it's nice to know everybody complements each other so well. And that's such a blessing that we're very blessed in this. But I think this VA part and having this, I love that this is such a great program, and such a thing such a part that Meadowview has built on and said we're going to continue doing this, and that really makes it unique for sure.
It does, and again, we love working with the VA. The representatives they have, they're at the building. Well, throughout COVID, they had to stop just like everyone else, but normally they're in the building every month. They're checking on the veterans that are there, and are they receiving the care? They have anything that they may need.
Love that.
We had a veteran. It's been a couple of years ago. Needed a new wheelchair, and the VA brings out. I call it has to be the Cadillac of wheelchairs. What this wheelchair does, but I know when I found out what the price of it would be if I wanted to go buy one, and then he was getting it just for being a veteran, it really hammered home how some of the things that the VA do for our veterans when they are in need. So it was a really nice thing to see.
Absolutely, we've got a really good VA program in our community. And that's awesome. And I love that. And I'm sure the families appreciate that.
Give a shout out to Kevin.
Absolutely. Kevin Bateman
leads that and does a fantastic job. He's in the building just as much as the VA representatives when we have veterans and visitations and stuff to check on them. So
love that.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that that's so important, and I'm sure the families love that.
Yeah.
That's just one more, person checking in on their loved one, and that's just fantastic.
Yes.
I would think that would just be wonderful.
Yep. Great program.
Definitely. Well, I tell you what, there's a lot of information this morning.
We just backed the truck up.
Hopefully, yeah, really. We kind of dumped a lot, didn't we? Yeah. Hopefully everyone's had a pen and paper there. But I do want to, Hannah, I want you to go over the phone number for Hoosier Uplands and all the great things that if anyone has any information or any questions they would like to ask.
Yeah, any topic that we may have touched on today or anything that you're thinking of that maybe we didn't go over, or if you're just not sure if we cover it, it never hurts to ask. Our phone number there is 812-849-4447, and the girls up front there will locate you wherever you go.
Love that. Absolutely wonderful. And as far as Melanie, let's talk about you and your great program for CNA. Yay! I love that, and I think it's so awesome. And I think that sometimes you think about a person that just maybe financially they're just not able to to really put much into that right now. What a blessing for families, and also encouraging, and I think a wonderful program.
Wonderful program. And also ASC is just launching a new program. We have, it's a $250 bonus.
Perfect attendance bonus.
Yes, perfect attendance bonus.
Full-time.
Wait.
So full-time
Yeah.
staff, everyone in the building. It's not just for one exclusive group, but if you're a full-time employee and you come to work on time and leave on time, don't have any call-ins or anything like that, it's $250 per paycheck.
Cha-ching, cha-ching.
Yeah, so it's
I know.
but even for part-time employees, there's 150. So I mean, just some extra cash in your pocket. So
Well,
just for
Christmas
showing up.
yesterday. What was it? We're
No,
like,
don't start. that
well,
already.
yesterday was the 25th, right?
Christmas,
So what are we at?
Christmas. Here we go.
Yeah. Well,
Stop it.
for us shoppers, you got to chop, or for the woodcutters, chop. For the shoppers, shop.
Whenever you start talking about how many days till Christmas, I'm going to start telling you how many days it is till hunting season.
Oh, there you go. That's exactly right. Yeah. Fire back at me, Joe. That's right. There you go.
That's what I do
Well,
in life.
Huh?
She talks about Christmas shopping, and I'm like, as long as I can equal my hunting shopping, then we're all good.
Everybody, you go this direction, you go this
There you
direction.
go.
Well, it is, it's surprising how many, and I don't want to stereotype completely men, but how many men on Christmas morning, whenever the gifts are open, they're as surprised as the kids.
Yep, I have no idea. It's not a stereotype.
Right.
It can be a stereotype if it's true, but
my husband was like, he always was like shocked too.
Or the night before, I'm getting the rundown of what's all under the tree.
Or putting the stuff together, right?
Those Amazon boxes don't open as easy as they used to.
They do not.
That's hilarious. Well, it's a lot of fun, though, definitely. And I know, we are, and Meadowview and Salem Crossing, your sister facility,
Yes.
are very blessed right now that you guys are doing more normal, if you will, than what you have been through. And we just take it by day and never take it for granted, for sure, right?
Yeah.
So true.
Such a blessing that, that everybody can see, and a little bit happier smiles, I'm sure.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And if you have any questions, at any time over whether what we talked about or just in general, you can always call the facility. Numbers on our website. You can go to asccare.com or you can call 883-4681 and we'll find someone to get you the answer that you're looking for.
Absolutely wonderful. Melanie, keep up the great work. Come back and visit us.
Thank you. I will.
I would learn from you.
anytime.
I would love to sit in your class. I just think
Absolutely.
you'd
Come
be a
anytime.
ball, I think. Yeah,
I am.
I bet you
I
are.
try to be.
I bet
Yeah.
you are. Yeah.
I do. I try to be.
Joe's like, oh,
That's why I'm drinking
There's-
Red Bull.
Red
There's a
Bull,
little bit of
Yeah.
dancing and music. So.
I love that.
Right.
Yeah. Well, in between, you got to do a little bit of, activity. My watch keeps telling me use time to stand. Stop it. Yeah.
I love when I'm mowing the yard and my watch tells me there's a workout detected. I'm like, thank you.
Yeah, really. I know. Yeah. Or like, you can achieve your goal if you keep it up. I'm like, okay. Yeah. I love that. But anyway, so thank you, Melanie. Thank you, Joe, for bringing Melanie in, and come back and visit us. Keep
I
up the great
will
work
anytime.
and just get in those classes. I love that. I hope you're just completely full on that. I think it's what a blessing for our community. Hannah, I'm completely always blown away at Hoosier Uplands and all that you do, and David Miller, the whole gang. Everybody is wonderful. We're so blessed to have Washington County is a part of the counties that Hoosier Uplands is involved with. So
Definitely always looking for something new. So
absolutely, for sure. All right, I want to thank our sponsors and Kentucky Cat and Core, Dr. Mindy Gunn, Dr. Black's Eye Associates, Walmart, Meadowview, Salem Crossing, and so thankful for all of our wonderful sponsors that help us come here every morning. Happy Monday, right?
Happy Monday.
Here's to the best week ever, right? Yay! Thanks, guys.